all my life I've not been anything special. I've not been confident. I was never like enthusiastic. I remember like family and the closest people to me were calling me delusional, and they didn't think I was special enough to make it. I just couldn't work my job. I didn't have the motivation to wake up for it. And when I was working, I would just constantly, my mind would be in a different place altogether. And I just couldn't do it. And I got a few warnings from my manager and stuff like, what's going on? Like, if you need to take time off, go for it. But you can't keep this up. I had nothing to give, nothing to offer. And people could see it on me as well. And I was trading my way out of it. And I actually managed to get funded and, paid out whilst I was going through this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I'll always be grateful for the opportunity that trading has given me, specifically bespoke funding as well.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Bespoke Funded Trader Podcast. Today I am joined by another guy who has recently had a payout with us. So I'm excited to get into his journey and find out how he got funded and how long he's been trading for. So let's get straight into it. Hey.
Hi there. You okay?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
That's good. So for everyone that's listening at home, do you want to just give a quick introduction into who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, my name's Suhaib. I'm 25. From a place called Burnley. I was born there. It's only known for the football, I guess. And yeah, I was brought up there my whole life. Got into trading around 2016. That's when I was first introduced to it. And I remember one day, I came home from college and I was on my laptop. I remember I don't know, I must have done some college work or something, and I was on, how you on these dodgy movie websites, and I remember a pop-up came up, and normally you just close these pop-ups, and I remember I was drawn into it because it said financial markets and it said make money from home and stuff, and straight away I was drawn into it. I remember watching the video, and it was of this young woman, and she had 2 young kids with her, and she had a fancy kitchen, and yeah, she was cutting up some vegetables, and I thought it was legit. So and she was just talking about how she's able to spend so much time with her kids and being a stay-at-home mom, and I thought, wow, this is different. I thought I've found something. And so I decided from then I've got an interest in something at least, so that's where I kind of found trading, and it led me to binary options. I remember the following summer in 2016, I was working in a warehouse, and I was still kind of into trading, by the way. I wasn't doing nothing. And I'd get these calls from these account managers, hey, can you do you want to deposit some money in? We'll help you grow it and stuff. And I fell for it. And I remember I put in £250, and I grew it to £800. And this is, by the way, I had put all my earnings, by the way, from that entire summer from the warehouse, and I just lost it straight away. And from then I realized this is dangerous. But then I kind of grew into it, and I found IML, and I got into the MLM space. And from then, that's when I really knew what trading is all about. And it took me some time to actually get into it, but that was kind of my introduction to it.
Okay, so I think binary options, it seems like a common theme. A lot of people that I speak to that get into trading around that kind of time as well, 2015, 2016. It seems like binary options was the thing to do, and that's what was that what the advertisement was for binary options, or was that for Forex?
It was binary, yeah. But the MLM thing, it was really popular around 2016.
Yeah.
I remember I went to a seminar in Manchester, and there was a company called Wealth Generators. Not sure if you've heard of them, but they were a big one back then. And I went to this seminar, and it was packed out. And I went into with a tracksuit and stuff, and I seen everyone there they're just wearing suits and shirts. And I'm thinking I'm underdressed, so I was a bit nervous to win. But then I sat down, and they're just talking about the whole recruitment side of it. And I realized these guys probably don't know how to trade. And I knew one thing from the beginning, I don't want to learn how to recruit people, because I've never been that enthusiastic. I've not been very sociable or confident. So I realized I'm not here to learn how to recruit people. I just want to trade. So I joined IML for a month, and I realized this is not going to get me to where I want to be. From then on, I realized this is people are just selling dreams here. And that kind of threw me off at that time. So I left it alone. I decided to focus on uni for a while after that.
Mm-hmm. I was actually going to say, what was your experience like in IML? Because I know, again, that's another a very common way that people get into it, is obviously through that whole network marketing, through IM Academy stuff. But it's interesting to hear people's different stories, because I know people who have been successful in IML and like they're a top recruiter, but then I don't hear of many successful traders that actually stay in IML. So what was your experience like being in IML?
So I was only there for a month. And what I saw was that these people are all just posting on Facebook. It was very cringy for me. Like, they were posting, like, they were in Barcelona, they were in Rome, and they've got so much people in the crowd, like, cheering for something. And I'm just thinking, like, this is not what trading's about. Like, this is fair enough, it's networking, but I just realized, like, I don't want to be anywhere like that. I just want to kind of focus on my own grind and learn how to trade with proper mentorship. I don't want to have to worry about recruiting people, because that's where they were pushing it. So I realized from then, this is not for me. And I realized I completely disliked it, and it kind of threw me off trading at that point. And I realized, like, just there's so much more to it than this. And I feel like I was one of the first. I feel like I was one of the first people who clicked on, like, this stuff it's not going to get anywhere. And obviously, I think we saw what happened with all of them MLM companies after that.
Yeah, I think it is a funny thing, because I kind of came into like the whole entrepreneurial, like, personal development, work for yourself kind of space through network marketing as well. It was a completely different one. But then once I started seeing MLM and Forex being paired together, straight off the bat I was like, right, okay, this doesn't make sense. Like, trading is, you sit at home, you make money, and you don't have to socialize with your other humans. Whereas MLM, it is very heavily networking, and you have to be a people person to be able to be successful in that. So as soon as I heard about these two being paired together, I was just kind of like, okay, this is, I don't understand how these two even make sense together.
Definitely.
Never mind trying to, like, build a business on the back of trading, but MLM, recruiting people, like, it just didn't ever make sense to me.
Yeah, of course. No, it didn't make sense to me either. One thing I realized about myself is, like, I was never a confident person anyway growing up, and I was not, like, enthusiastic like these people are trying to be. So I realized, like, that's not going to get me anywhere. I kind of prefer to be low key. And I do like to do things alone and just be by myself. And so this whole thing of recruiting and, you know, meeting tons of people and, you know, for recruitment purposes is not for me. And I think I kind of knew my limits earlier on. And I realized, like, me being a low-key person, I just want to be by myself and doing it, you know, kind of studying and doing it the right way. So yeah, the MLM space, I think it was beneficial to all of us in some way. It got us kind of into trading. But I knew early on, like, long term, this is not going to be sustainable for me, and it's not going to, you know, my trading is not going to develop from there.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good that you were in the space, but you quickly managed to realise that this isn't trading.
I spent a month in there. I tried out the signals. They had something called, like, the harmonics.
Okay.
Yeah. And
harmonic scanner or
something like that. Yeah, but it was like an auto trade or something. And I think I've seen a lot of people recently, they're pushing these kind of things still with different companies. And I feel bad for them now. I do feel a bit bad, because I think we've all seen, like, the right way to do it. And I think none of us would be here right now, like, if we hadn't done it the right way. Whereas these people are doing it the MLM way. I think they're going to realize sooner or later. It's just a ticking time bomb, personally, if I'm being honest.
I think from the perspective that I have, I think the people that are in it and stay in it, I think they enjoy the recruitment side of it. They enjoy making money from the recruitment side of it. But I don't think that they would ever be professional traders.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you're selling a trading, what would you call it? A trading product, but you're not actually trading. You are a professional recruiter. And I think that is where that's kind of what separates the people, like, the real traders, from the people who want to stay in this MLM business model, which you're just a professional recruiter.
In a way, I do understand, because I do know, like, it might seem like they've got a business running, an online business, and they've got all these people, and they can say, wow, like, we've got, you know, got all these people working for me and stuff. But yeah, the MLM space, I'm grateful that it was there, but, you know, I'm just glad I realized, like, it's not for me early on, and I was able to find my own way in trading after that.
I mean, like I said, that it's good that you were able to kind of separate it as quick as you
Yeah.
did, because I know a lot of people, they'll stay in it for a lot longer, waste a lot more money, waste a lot more time, and then kind of realise, okay, this isn't quite what I signed up for.
Yeah.
But obviously you managed to figure that out for yourself quite quickly. So you mentioned at the beginning that you were in uni when you first found out about IML.
Yeah. So I was initially I was in college for binary options. From then I just left it. When I was in uni, I kind of found out like the whole IML thing. I left that alone after I realized it's not for me. So now we're going back towards 2020, 2021. I had always had like from 2017 to 2020, 2021, I kind of had like one foot in, one foot out of trading, because one of the biggest things for me was capital. And I used to see a lot of traders posting online like so much profits, and I'm just thinking, where are they getting this money from anyway? Because they all claiming that they were broke and they had nothing. And all of a sudden they're making like 5K in a week and a day and stuff. And I'm just like, where are they getting this money from? That was one thing that put me off earlier. Where am I going to get the capital from? So after that, I just took my mind off it quite a bit. I was in uni, I wasn't really doing much. And I then remember like I would do, £100 accounts here and there, trying out a few signals. It wouldn't get me anywhere. So now we're coming to the start of 2021. I discovered FTMO. And from there, my perspective like completely switched. I watched Raul's YouTube interview with FTMO, and he made like 150k on a 300k account. I was blown away. I was like, what the hell? And then I researched into FTMO, and I was like, whoa, like this is exactly what I need. And I wish I had found this earlier. Like, imagine. Then I just started thinking all these years I wasted, from not taking it seriously. And I was just like thinking, I wish I had come across this earlier. So I did more research on FTMO, and I realized that this is actually simple. Like, you don't have to sit exams or anything. You just have to pass a 2-phase evaluation. From then, my interest really sparked in trading. Like, that's when I decided, like, as soon as I'm out of uni, I'm going to go in this full effect. I've wasted so many years not taking it seriously. And I felt a bit sad that I felt so many people had overtaken me. And I used to see this quite often online. Like, people have just come into trading in the last year, and they've overtook me. Like, I found trading way before you guys, and now I'm behind you all. So that kind of frustrated me. And then after I found FTMO, I enrolled for a course. I spoke to the guy, and he was telling me, yeah, like, this is exactly what our purpose is. We want to get you funded. And so straight away, like, I was like, yep, I signed up for it. I paid £2,000 for this course, and I spent a year on it. And I just remember, like, after spending a year on it, like, the technical side of it was just not for me. It was too broad and too basic, and I realized, like, I wish I'd just done a different course. I did multiple courses at the same time. I even joined your Telegram group at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, like, I asked a few months ago, like, hey, Mads, can you send a video on, like, how you do your fibs?
No way.
Yeah.
Did I send it to you?
And no, you said I'll do it in the morning.
Did I forget?
No, yeah, you forgot.
Remind me, I'll send it to you after this.
No, I don't need it now. I left your group though, only because I was in so many groups, and I just decided, like, I'm just binge joining groups and I can't be doing this. So I joined the proper mentorships, photon trading. I was in Phantom as well, and that's where I acquired a lot of my knowledge from. I learned market structure, and I finally understood, like, how the markets kind of move. And I came to a point where I was blowing so many challenges, not even knowing what I'm doing. I lost a lot of money in the process. At the same time, I always had confidence in my abilities, knowing that it's going to work out. But for me, one of my struggles was all my life I've not been anything special. I've not been confident. I was never like enthusiastic, and I realized one thing about myself earlier on. I had a degree. I come from a marketing background. And one of the things I realized was that I'm just not cut out to, kind of go for that corporate career thing. Like, if it comes to like an assessment center and, there's a choice between you and like 4 or 5 of the candidates, I just knew that myself, like, I would not get chosen. And, so that's one thing that kind of deterred me from pursuing a career in like the marketing, the degree way, the old fashioned way. And that's why I decided, like, I'm going to go full effect into trading, because I don't need to be confident. I don't need to be, around other people. I could just be myself, stay low key, and do it that way. And I remember like family and the closest people to me were calling me delusional, and they didn't think I was special enough to make it. They were like, you're not going to be that person or this person who's done it, because I have a cousin who's quite wealthy, and he comes from an investment banking background, and he's also made it he's become very successful in trading as well. I was compared to him quite a lot.
Okay.
And they were like, you're not going to be like him, and you're not going to be like that. And at the same time, it does hurt someone when close people are telling you that you're not special enough to become something in trading, when in fact I had chosen this path for myself. I had realized that I'm not special enough to become a marketer or a digital marketer or anything like that. I wanted to make my own success in trading. And at the same time, I understood what they were saying, because they probably thought that I wanted to be a millionaire. They probably thought that this guy wants to be like the Wolf of Wall Street. Sorry. And at the same time, it's like, I should have actually told them, like, look, I'm not trying to be a millionaire. I'm just trying to have financial freedom of time. Like, for me personally, like 50, 60K in a year, that's really good money. And that's probably good enough for me to, travel and trade at the same time and just provide and stuff. And that's where I was coming from it. And they probably had a different perception of it. But I don't blame them, because they don't see it how we see it. They don't see it like the way that it's impacted our lives, and they don't see like the effort that we've put into it for so long. So I knew at that point, like, I'm never going to give up on trading. And it saved me from so much as well. Like, I can't stress how much trading has helped me in my own personal life. Just when I had nothing to give and nothing left to offer, like, I was going through a lot in my life as well, not too long ago. I had nothing left to fall back on. And this is when I realized that trading is the one thing I can actually put my mind on, because I was working a job as well. And, I was going through quite a tough time mentally as well. And I just couldn't work my job. I didn't have the motivation to wake up for it. And when I was working, I would just constantly, my mind would be in a different place altogether. And I just couldn't do it. And I got a few warnings from my manager and stuff, like, what's going on? Like, if you need to take time off, go for it. But you can't keep this up. And I realized, like, okay, fair enough. But when I'm on the charts, that's a totally different thing. Like, I can actually look in the charts and I can focus on trading. And my mind's over here. Like, it's not somewhere else. I can actually focus on it. And that's when I realized, like, trading's just giving me so much more, like, mentally as well. It's allowing me to do so many things. And, I'll always be grateful for trading for allowing me to do that.
I love that. Would you say as well that it sounds like to me that trading is somewhat of like a therapy almost for you?
Yeah,
like you say, like, you, at work you couldn't focus and your mind wasn't there, you wasn't motivated. But then when you're trading and on the charts, like, you're just just there.
That's the word
present.
for it. It was a very therapeutic for me, because I remember, like, I had, because there was just so much doubt from other people, even myself. And, when things were falling apart for me personally, I would just crumble. And, I'm not someone who deals with pressure very well anyway. And when the pressure got to me, I had nothing to give, nothing to offer, and people could see it on me as well. And I was trading my way out of it. And I actually managed to get funded and, paid out whilst I was going through this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I'll always be grateful for the opportunity that trading has given me, specifically bespoke funding as well, because it's given me such a different, like, dimension of thinking, and it's just opened up a new path for me that I never knew that I would get, And, it takes me back to them early days, 2017, 2018, when I knew what I wanted to achieve, but I didn't know how to get there. And now looking back, I can see the growth has been, it's been phenomenal. And I'll always be grateful for trading for that. Like, it has really impacted my life earlier on. Yeah, it's just been a roller coaster of a journey for me personally.
It sounds like as well trading has given you some level of confidence. Like you say, like, you haven't ever been the most, like, enthusiastic, confident person, but talking to you today, even the fact that you're on the podcast, that tells me that your confidence has absolutely grown leaps and bounds. And I today's the first time that I've met you, but just hearing your story, I can tell that your confidence now is 10 times what it used to be.
I would say so as well, yeah. because I could never imagine myself being, on a podcast. Like it's still surreal to be here, to doing something like this. And yeah, I would definitely say my confidence has improved over the last year or so, because I never felt valuable. I just never felt like I had anything to bring, wherever it was, whether it was in my friends or, in business or personal life. I just felt so like I was almost like underestimating myself, and I realized that can, it can be negative for yourself, but at the same time, when you achieve something, the feeling is a lot better. And so yeah, definitely has improved my confidence, and I do see myself just I have seen the growth in myself as well. And yeah, I am really grateful because no one, I realize like no one networks being quiet and shy and awkward, and so yeah, I do appreciate it, that my confidence has grown, and yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's crazy as well, because a lot of people that I talk to when it comes to trading, if you'd have told me what you were going through when you actually kind of found the success of trading, if you'd have spoken to me during that time, I would have said, just chill, don't even trade, take a break from the charts. But it seems like you've taken that and just completely flipped it, and actually now you going through that tough time, trading is actually what helped you get out of that, which is, like I say, that's the complete opposite to a lot of the advice that I hear online, and probably advice that I would even give to someone that came to me and said like, right, I'm really going through a shit time right now. I'd say don't even focus on trading. But for you, that has been like the complete opposite. So it's good to hear a different perspective. And I think for people maybe watching at home who are very similar to you, who are quite maybe more reserved and don't really like to put themselves out there as much, it seems like that could be a good way for them to kind of find themselves out of that by just kind of focusing on the charts and using that as therapy.
The funny thing is, I would actually say to someone as well, don't trade if you're stressed and if you're feeling a lot of pressure, because it can mentally destroy you as well if it doesn't work out. But at the same time, if you've got a plan that you've back tested and you've put in the hours and you've got something that works, as long as you'll stick to that no matter what, then you can. But yeah, for me, I think it was just a matter of I had nothing else to do. I lost interest in my own hobbies and my passions and stuff. I'm a big football fan. I'm a Man United fan, and I would watch their games with so much passion. And I even lost the passion for that, and I just lost everything. Like I just didn't want to do anything. But I could still wake up and trade the London session, and I could trade the New York session, and I could do that actually being focused, and it would temporarily take my mind away from things. And at the same time, if it is something that you're taking very seriously, especially on the funded stage, I would definitely recommend to just take a break. That's one thing that I will do now, because it can backfire as well. If you're trading under pressure and stress, like you can make rash decisions and they won't work out well. So yeah, definitely, if you're funded, I would say even drop the risk, or just don't trade. Like it's gonna do you more harm than good, in the long term. So yeah, but for me personally, it did bring me out of a dark period, and so that did definitely give me a lot of confidence. Just I can see the road ahead. It is clearer for me.
I absolutely love to hear that. I also think as well, from what you said, it sounds like you came into this with literally no ego, which I think again is very opposite to most of the people that I speak to, myself included. I came into trading with massive ego. Yep, I'm going to get rich and I'm going to flip this account kind of vibe, which I think most of us do that come into trading. But it sounds like you've come into trading without the ego, so you haven't really had to battle with that, which is a journey that a lot of traders have to go through, which is battling the ego. And it sounds like you haven't had to do that, which I think also has had a positive effect for your journey.
I just don't think I've ever had an ego anyway. I've never thought highly of myself, so I think maybe that's why. But at the same time, it is different on the charts. Like when you see that kind of money, it can really test your ego, and I've been through this multiple times. And it can be, even if you've got an ego, it can give a big hit to that ego. Like I remember last year I was doing on US 30, and I remember like that just mentally drained the life out of me. Like And I swore to myself after that, I'm never going to touch US30 again.
I've had that same conversation with
And
myself.
I realized like then on, I'm never going to touch US30 again.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like even now, I am still tempted to kind of just try it out. I'll be honest, but not as much as it was. Yeah, just stick to something that works. This is what I would say. There's so many different ways you can do it, and I've been through the whole thing of where you've learned so much. I learned so many different things and strategies, and I kind of got burnt out.
Yeah.
I had information overload in my head, and I felt like I learned so much that I didn't know anything, and I just like the whole thing of putting it all together, like what shall I use this, shall I use that concept, and that's a big killer as well in trading, like when you have so many things and you just don't know which one to use. For me, I still do battle this, but I think I know more of what works for me now, and I'm trying to use that more often. But yeah, ego is a massive thing I think in trading, but I think it's one way or another the markets will humble anyone, and I think everyone's been there, whether you have an ego or not. Even myself, I've been there. I got humbled by US30, so I think if anyone's traded US30, like they will know how that feels.
I agree. Like I said, I've still got PTSD from US30.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, that's the word, yeah.
Yeah. So going back to a little bit more deeper of you, is there any kind of significant experience that you've gone through in your life personally, like completely away from trading, that has kind of shaped your mindset to be a trader?
Yeah. Like I was saying, it's just the fact that I knew, growing up and in uni and college, I kind of realized my limits, and I just knew that this whole corporate career thing is not for me. And I realized that like I never had any special talents in anything. Like I used to like play football, but I wasn't good, and I never had like any special talents or anything. Everyone thinks that they've got some sort of talent, and for me, I just knew that I never had any. So I was always just someone who was there, but never really had a presence, if you know what I mean. And that's who I was all like growing up, even before I kind of became funded and profitable. I never really had much value to myself, and what hurt me most was the fact that I think others would know that as well, and they kind of would take advantage of it, maybe without knowing. And one of the things that shaped me was when people say it to your face, like you're delusional, you're not gonna make it, and that's something that really hurts people, especially if it's something they're passionate about. Like you can't tell someone like you to give up on a dream, especially if I'm not saying I want to be a billionaire or a millionaire. I'm just trying to make it in whatever way I can. And so I knew that I'm not special. I'm not gonna make it in the corporate way. I'm not. If I was ever like getting a job interview and there was multiple candidates, I would already like put myself out of the picture, because I knew that these recruiters, they want someone who can chat shit, and they want someone who can blag their way through it, and that's just not myself. I just don't want to be myself, natural, and let it flow. And if I do have any confidence, that's confidence that I will, obtain naturally. And I remember like not too long ago, this is like before I got funded, before I started my challenge and stuff, like it was the worst then, because I started to see people give up on me. And this is the closest people in my life, my own family, calling me delusional. And they said that, you can't, your trading's not going to work for you. You're just not going to be able to build something from it. And I think it was the only time in my life where I really felt like saying something back, because I would just keep it in. I felt like saying something back, and maybe that was a bit of ego coming into it, because I realized like I've done so much already that I'm not going to give up. And so when I saw that, everyone around me, the closest people in my life, they were telling me that this is not for me, and that, you've had your time, because they saw me putting effort in for like nearly 2 years. And they said, you tried for 2 years, like that's it, it's not happening. But they don't know that this is what it takes. They don't know that you have to lose all this money. So that's what I tried saying, like, all this money that I've lost, I promise you, it's going to be worth it. But they didn't believe it anyway. So, I had to learn the hard way anyway. But then that's when I realized, like, it's only myself who believes in this. No one else really understands it, and I don't blame them. And so that's when, everything got really bad. And then I decided to do my challenge with Bespoke anyway. I think that was probably a bit of ego, trying to prove to someone maybe. So I started my challenge and I passed it. And I remember like I was in Turkey. I passed my phase 1 in Turkey from my phone, and I was like, whoa, like this is what it's about. Because I kind of had the whole experience of trading whilst you're traveling. And I was just sat in my hotel on the balcony, and I was literally just opened the chart for like 15 minutes on my phone, and I saw an entry, and I got in and I passed my phase 1. And that's the moment I realized, like, whoa, this feeling is way worth it than what anyone else could ever like tell me, you know. So as soon as I passed and I got funded, I realized like everyone who said to me that I'm not going to be able to do it, everyone who doubted me, even myself, I doubted myself. Like everything comes to fruition one way or another. You just got to keep going, and that's what I did. I just kept on going, and I never lost focus on that. And no matter what happened, like I never lost focus on that. And I had my moment where I felt like saying, like, I told you. But it plays out one way or another. I'm grateful for that, because all my life, like I said, I've not been anything special, and trading was my way to finally become something. And I feel like finally, I'm on a podcast. I can never imagine myself being on something like this. So I do definitely take them moments. I do take them. I do hold them in my heart, because I do feel like they have shaped me as well. And like I say, it just brings out confidence naturally as well when you see yourself firsthand of what you've had to go through, and what lies ahead from it as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I think it's a great story, and it seems like you've had to overcome a lot to get where you are in terms of like limiting beliefs and the people that you have around you not really having that vision of what it takes and what is going to come from it. So I think it's great that you have overcome so much when it comes to your mindset and stuff like that. Is there anything that you still struggle with when it comes to trading? And if there is, what advice could you give to someone who might be struggling with the same kind of thing?
I would definitely say one thing is sometimes you just got to know when to just leave the charts alone. I think I got so used to like just enjoying being on the charts that I couldn't get I just couldn't take my eyes off it. It becomes
addictive, doesn't it?
Yeah, I could not take my eyes off it. Every single day, like I just like to see what's going on, and then that leads to more temptation, and then that will lead to something happening that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Sometimes I need to know when to give it in. Like just leave it. It's not going to go anywhere. And I still, that's one of the reasons why I do get drawdown.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to me in phase 1. I couldn't do that. I just couldn't stop looking. And that's not necessary, because we've got no time limits anywhere. Even currently, like I'm battling drawdown because of that. I remember like when I got my reset after my payout, it was like 6 p.m. and I'm just on the chart still, looking at the chart, and I just saw a quick trend, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get in on something. And it didn't work out. I ended up losing the trade, and then I did that for a bit, and then I remember speaking to someone, and he said to me, "Bro, you got complacent. Like it happened. Exact same thing happened to him as well." He said, "I got paid out, and I felt like fine. I felt like the man, and it backfired on him as well." And he said, "That's exactly what's happening to you." And I told him like what I was feeling, and he said, "Bro, whenever you know you're gonna make a decision and you shouldn't be doing it, you need to just get away." And that's one of the biggest things I would advise to someone. If you know that you shouldn't be doing something in trade, like when it comes to taking a trade or certain risk, that that's not the right decision. If you still do it, that's something that can actually destroy your ego, and it can destroy your whole trading confidence. And I realized that a few times, and so that's one thing I will never ever do. Like take a trade, just take a trade knowing that it's not the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing I would definitely say. And yeah, if your mind is angry as well and you're stressed, like definitely just leave the charts alone. One thing I've started doing is placing limit orders, because market execution, I do find myself rushing and panicking. Sometimes I'll get in too early. Sometimes I might see price in my zone, but I'm scared that it's just going to hit stop loss. So I think for me personally now, recently, I've just started using limit orders, and I just leave it alone. I set my alerts and I just leave it alone. That's definitely something that helps me. And I do feel like it would help others as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, I love that. I think that it is a good idea. I think even for myself, I don't use any type of orders or anything like that, but I do tend to set alerts now. So like you, I used to just be sat on the charts all day, just looking, waiting for something. I'd see like something on the 1 minute and I'm like, yep, right, get in. Like I don't want to miss that move. But now I've gone back to more of just setting alerts and waiting for price to come to me. So I think that is really good advice for anyone who is pretty much addicted to trading and just always wanting to be in a trade. Like you say, as soon as you get your credentials, you just want to get straight in and make something. But obviously most of the time that is going to be to your detriment. Avoid that at all costs.
I don't blame myself either for that, because it shows to me like I really love it. And I just enjoy the moment, and I enjoy trading, you know. You can't say like you know, people say like you need to do something you love, and whatever it is, career or hobby and stuff. And I do enjoy trading. I do love it. I just love what it brings, and ultimately it's always gonna help you develop and grow in all aspects, whether it's with your trading, business, in your life. And so I just love trading. I just love being on the charts and watching and learning. So that's why that's my excuse, I think. But at the same time, you know, we're still learning. We're still gonna struggle with it. But yeah, it's just part of the process, isn't it?
Absolutely. So are you trading full time now?
At the moment I am, because as I was saying, I was working my job. I'll tell you what happened. Like when I was in my learning phase, like over a year ago, I was like always on the charts. So I was working just a normal call center job, work from home, and I'm on the phones like with customers, and customers would ring us, and you know, whatever problem they'd have, I'd have to help them out and deal with it. And at this time I was learning, and I was demo trading, and so they would ring us and I would be, you know, on the charts at the same time, and you know, they'd tell me what the problem is, and I'd be like, just give me 2 minutes, mate, I'm gonna pop you on hold, I'm gonna help you out, I'm gonna get your account up, just give me 2 minutes. And so I'd put them on hold, and I would actually just go on the charts, and I'm placing a trade or something, and I'm just watching price. And I'd do that every single call I'd get. Literally every call I'd get, I'd place them on hold for a few minutes, and I'd just be on the charts, whether I'm in a trade or when I'm looking for a trade or I'm back testing, I'm doing something, it was always on the charts. So I was doing that for like a year, and then, you know, I got let go of that job, and then they realized after a year. So I started a new job like in April, May time, and this was actually a decent job, well paid and stuff, and it was still work from home as well. But then this is when like things just got really tough for me in my life, and I just, like I say, I just lost everything. I lost my motivation. I just lost energy for everything. And I was working there, and I knew like if this carries on, I'm not going to be here much longer. So I remember I got paid out from Bespoke, and I've back tested a lot, and I've, you know, even like the losing weeks I've had, like I realized like all these trades I should not have taken. I realized like all these weeks that I've had unprofitable, I should have actually been profitable if I had just been more reserved, if I had just stuck to what I know, if I'd have just been patient. And you know, that gave me confidence knowing that I shouldn't be losing. I shouldn't have, you know, unprofitable weeks are normal, but me, myself, personally, I don't think I should have any week where I should be in drawdown of more than like 1.5% or maximum 2%. So I realized that, you know, I should have actually come out of this week or this phase actually profitable if I had just been patient, if I had not just let my emotions get the better of me. So that gave me more confidence as well. So I remember I got paid out from Bespoke. It was just under 6,000. I felt so happy, like, because I've never had more than, in a single month, like more than $2,000 from a job or paid, you know. So, you know, in pounds is like just under 5,000. And I was just thinking, whoa, like this is like more than 3 months worth of wages. I've just made it in 2 weeks. And so that's when I realized, like I remember still working the week after. And the manager was like, listen, you know, your performance or whatever, you're not he was basically saying to me, you're not a dumb guy. He's like, you're not a dumb guy. I don't understand, like, what is it? And he knew that I was going through some things before, and he's like, I've tried to help you out, mate, whatever I said, you know what, mate, like, look, I'll be honest, I don't want to waste your time anymore, and I don't think it's fair to you or myself. So I just decided, like, you know what, I'm going to leave. That way I've got an excuse, you know, to be on trading. And at the same time, I just feel like I do look forward now to waking up. I do look forward to Monday morning now, because before I just never ever looked forward to Monday morning, Now I can't wait for the weekend to finish. And what helps as well, obviously, I've got another account with FTMO as well. So having multiple accounts, definitely, it does take away some of the stress. So yeah, full time for now, but let's see. I definitely do believe that I will continue full time.
Love that. Well, maybe we'll have to do a part 2 when you hit max funding,
I'd love
and
to,
we'll see how that's going. So getting onto obviously Bespoke now, what has your experience been like with Bespoke?
Bespoke has been class, if you ask me. Like, one thing I would say is I wish I knew about them earlier.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't realize they're like a year old now, aren't they?
Yeah, literally.
I only found out about
Bespoke.
Bespoke.
Had our birthday last week.
Really?
Oh, last month, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I only found out about Bespoke in like June, I think. And I didn't realize that they were no time limit from the get-go, weren't they? Like, that would have saved me some hassle, I feel, from back then. But yeah, everything has been class for me, like being very smooth, very user-friendly. The challenge in itself was it was very good for me. Like, the auto-close feature worked out in my favor. The trade closed out in 5.5% even. So that was very simple. I got the credentials straight away. Phase 2 started past that in like maybe 2 weeks. Payout time, I remember I was so looking forward to getting my payout with Deal, because I see so many traders on Twitter posting their Deal accounts.
From Alicia.
Yeah, Alicia from Deal. That's what I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
I wanted to rack up like these invoices from Deal. And the day before I was meant to get paid out, Deal went. So that was a bit annoying, but yeah, I could tell Bespoke were working really hard behind the scenes to try and get everyone's payout sorted. And yeah, as soon as I got approved, payout was there in my bank within minutes.
Wow.
So it was a very solid experience for me. Only thing is, I hoped I had known about Bespoke earlier.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. It's good to hear as well the payout side of it, because I think the whole Deal situation, it did scare a lot of people, but obviously knowing that people are still getting payouts and that quickly as well, I think that will give traders a lot of confidence. So that is great to hear. So we have our final question, which is always a question from the previous guest.
Right, okay.
The question for you is from our previous guest 5, and his question is, so not sure if, I think I'll probably know your answer to this one actually, but would you either take 100k cash or dinner with ICT?
I would take the 100k cash, because first
Why?
of all, I would use that 100k to trade. Like, second of all, ICT's already got so much information out there. I don't think he's going to say anything different than what he's already got out there.
Fair point.
So yeah, I use a little bit of ICT myself. Not much, just a bit of imbalances. I'm happy with what I've got. ICT, I would have dinner with him still, but I would choose 100k cash.
Okay, I like that answer. I like that. You did that smoothly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and being a guest on our podcast. It was great having a chat with you, and it's nice to talk to someone who doesn't have as much ego as most of the people that I speak to, which is very refreshing. So yeah, thank you so much.
No, appreciate you guys having me on. Very good experience. Thank you for having me on. Pleasure to be here again.
You're very welcome.
Hopefully we can do a part 2 in the
I
future.
hope so.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, by the way.
You're welcome. So as always, guys, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe and hit that bell so you do not miss any of our videos, and we will be back again very soon.